UFC Vegas 56, Volkov versus Rozenstruik in Las Vegas, Nevada. Goes down tomorrow, I believe 1 p.m. Eastern. I think it's a nice little early card. And man, it feels good to be back. Of course, we didn't have a card last week. I haven't talked to y'all in 2 weeks. So, 14 fights. We're not coming back to the best card, but you know what, man? 14 fights. There's spots. There's opportunities. And there's some hidden gems, man. So let's not waste any time. Let's get down. 14 fights. That's what y'all are here for. So, starting off the night, we got one of the biggest favorites on the card. Excuse me. We got Erin Blanchfield. She's about minus 500. She's taking on JJ Aldrich plus 385. A little bit of money coming in on JJ Aldrich. You know, Blanchfield was minus 600 earlier in the week. Hope y'all can hear me okay. There was some audio problems a couple weeks ago, but you know what? Looks like we are good. Yeah, man. I mean, here's the deal. Blanchfield is, if you saw her last fight against Miranda Maverick, who, by the way, Miranda Maverick is no slouch at all. If you saw that fight, you know this girl, Erin Blanchfield. If you have an eye for talent, this girl is going places, man. She's still very, very young. You're going to see a lot of improvements from her, but she's already there in some aspects of her game. Like her wrestling and her grappling, it's going to take her a long, long way. I mean, this is 125. So yeah, I don't want to compare her to Tatiana Suarez, but I almost feel like she can make like a similar run where these girls just quite can't handle the wrestling approach from Blanchfield. She's super strong. She does everything technically well. The girl is fucking really good, man. When it comes to JJ Aldrich, she has my respect, bro. She does get better every fight. Like, her boxing's not bad. The grappling defense was there against Jillian Robertson, but let me tell you right now, this girl, Erin Blanchfield, is way better than Jillian Robertson. If you look at the experience and all that, you might question for a second why the line is what it is. But you know what, man? I just don't see anything that tells me JJ is going to be able to stop this approach from Erin Blanchfield. And even if JJ is able to stuff a takedown or two, not only is Blanchfield going to keep coming for more, this might be one of those fights where Blanchfield can actually make it competitive on the feet. Now, when she gets near the top of the division and she's fighting some of the elite strikers who can stuff a takedown, then we can talk about putting a halt on the hype train. But right now, I think the line is well-deserved. Erin Blanchfield, I think she's going to 30-27 her. JJ is very tough to get out of there. So, yeah, Blanchfield by unanimous decision. I'm not going to lie. I thought about parlaying her earlier in the week, but I don't know, man. Parlaying these minus 600s long term, you got to hit so many to be profitable long term, and it's a chick fight, man. Who the fuck knows? Not to disrespect the women, but let's be honest, there is more variance in women's MMA. So Blanchfield's the pick, no surprise there. Moving on to the next one, I like this one, man. We got Renat Fakhretdinov. He is minus 255. He's taking on Andreas Mihalaitis plus 215. So, yeah, you got a newcomer at minus 255 taking on a guy in Mihalaitis who, he's got more than a few UFC fights now. I want to say this will be his fourth, if I'm not mistaken. But, it's not very good for Mihalaitis. His striking looks all right. He actually was outstriking Modestas Bukauskas in that fight, but he just happened to slow down and he kind of quit at the end of the first round. And this has kind of been a historical thing with Mihalaitis, is the slowdown after round one. It's happened so many times. Now, major factor in this fight, we're going down to 170 pounds, man. Mihalaitis, who made his debut at 205, dropped down to 185. Now he's fighting at 170. And this is also, this isn't just a drop down in weight class for Mihalaitis. This is a drop down in weight class for Mr. Fakhretdinov. He's moving down to 172. Big guys for 170. There's X factors galore in this fight, like UFC debut for Fakhretdinov. Both, not just one, both guys dropping down in weight classes. I don't know. And like Fakhretdinov, like his record on paper, fuck yeah, 20-2. That's a great record, but like look who he's fighting. He's fighting a bunch of guys with 500 records, 1 win, 2 wins. The best wins he has are like his last 3. Alberto Uda, who used to be in the UFC, but like if you saw Alberto Uda in the UFC, he didn't belong there. Next fight against this dude, Johnny Carlos. I watched that fight. This dude, Johnny Carlos, had 0. Actually, no, 0 would be disrespect. I'm going to say this dude had -20 takedown defense. Like it was really bad. And Fakhretdinov was just able to repeat those takedowns over and over, and dude had nothing for him on bottom. And then Eric Spicely, who's clearly damaged goods at this point, he was able to come in and knock him out in under a minute. But like if you look at Spicely's post UFC career, so he had that amazing war against Deron Wynn, but like how many fucking shots did he eat in that fight? Like took a lot of damage there. And you know what happened after that fight? Spicely got cut and he got knocked out 3 times in a row. So like that win tells me nothing for Fakhretdinov. This is probably going to be his toughest matchup yet. Like again, I'm not a fan of Mihailidis' cardio. I don't care that he won a decision against KB Bueller. KB Bueller is one of the lowest level guys we've seen in the division in a long time. So I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't trust the cardio. I feel like Fakhretdinov, if he is able to work that wrestling and tire Mihailidis out, like it's going to be smooth sailing rounds 2 and 3. First round though, I feel like that's going to be competitive. Like I feel like who knows, maybe the jitters might get to Fakhretdinov and we see Mihailidis start strong like he has many times before. He is a strong starter. It's just what's going to happen when the fight gets extended. I got to favor the newcomer. I just feel like he's a little more well-rounded, well-conditioned, has the higher ceiling. And you know what? I mean, Mihailidis he's near the top of my fade list in the UFC. So like, I ain't going to pick him in this fight. Could there be value? I guess, but like, personally, I don't think so. So I'm going to go with Fakhretdinov. I'm going to say he gets a finish. I'm going to say he gets him out of there in the 3rd round by TKO. Moving on to the next one, we got Jeff Molina taking on Zhalgas Zhumagulov. I believe we got Jeff Molina like -180, -175. Zhalgas Zhumagulov +150. I mean, I kind of feel like Zhalgas absolutely has to wrestle in this spot. Like, Molina's got some decent hands, man, and it's the volume. I mean, the dude's a tough motherfucker to beat on the feet. Like, unless you're hurting him, it's going to be hard to outpoint him. Just that volume alone is serious, and there's technique behind it too. It's not just like the guy's coming out here throwing a million strikes with nothing behind it. Like, he is a good technical striker. He's super scrappy. He's got a good ground game, man. I mean, he can scramble. I don't know if he's going to be out here fucking D1 wrestling guys anytime soon, but like, if he were to get taken down, like, I don't think he's a fish there by any means. And that's what I think Zhalgas has to do here, man. I think he's got to mix in that wrestling, and he's got to do the old Zhalgas weasel here. So like, if you're familiar with Zhalgas's pre-UFC career, he fought a bunch of guys like Tagir Ulanbekov, Ali Bagautinov, and a few other Russians in that scene. And Zhalgas was able to come away with the wins in those fights, even though they were pretty controversial. He just had a way of making it close, man. Like back in the day, we used to call Alejandro Perez the ultimate weasel, because like, he was just finding a way to win these rounds against guys he was probably worse than. And that's kind of what I've seen Zhalgas do in the past. And he's the better wrestler here. So like, I can't be surprised if he comes out and takes down Molina a couple times now over the course of 3 rounds. Will it outweigh the strikes Molina wins or lands on the feet? I mean, I don't know, man. I tend to think this is kind of a close fight. So at +150, I don't hate the shot on Zhalgas. I thought when they stared down, I thought Molina was going to look a lot bigger than Zalgis, but they were actually kind of similar in size. To be honest, I was wrong about that one. I thought Molina was going to be a little bigger, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Molina hasn't really beat anybody. He beat what's his name, Daniel something De Silva, and Arichi Lane. I mean, I think Zalgis is a step up from those guys. So we'll see. We'll see if he passes the test. He's probably rightfully favored. He's got a higher ceiling, and with Zalgis, like his win condition is a greasy split. So like, you don't want to make that guy the favorite. I agree with this line. I think it could be a little tighter, but I'm going to go with Jeff Molina. I think he wins a 29-28. Unanimous decision. Moving on to the next one, we got Tony Gravely, minus 132. He's taking on Johnny Munoz, plus 112. This is the toughest fight in the card for me to call, to be honest. So with that being said, I do think it is a dog or pass situation. And like, it is the guy who's the favorite actually is a guy that is on my fade list. Like, I'm not a fan of Tony Gravely, man. I think he has a lot of holes in his game. Don't get me wrong. He's got his strengths. Like, the dude can wrestle. He's a good athlete. He's got decent striking. Like, he's gonna win the minutes here against Johnny Munoz. It's just a matter of what happens. Like, so here's the thing. The way I looked at this fight originally, I looked at it in a sense of who has the tools to win this fight more often than not. And I tend to think Tony Gravely has the tools to win this fight. I think so. Here's what I think should happen in the case of Tony Gravely, but what I don't think is going to happen. I think he should use that wrestling in reverse, stuff the takedowns from Johnny Munoz, and outstrike this guy over 3 rounds, because I actually think he can. Johnny Munoz striking is not all that, man. Like, he's very kick heavy. He doesn't have much power in his hands. I think his striking's got a long way to go. Now, the jiu-jitsu of Johnny Munoz is what makes him that money, man. Like, he's a very good submission grappler, and I mean, it doesn't take a genius to look at Tony Gravely's record and see what his weakness is. I mean, the guy's been submitted 5 or 6 times, and going up here against a legit black belt in Johnny Munoz. And yes, I do think Johnny Munoz is a legit black belt. So that fight against Nate Maness, Munoz took that fight on it was less than a week, I'm pretty sure. It was 4 or 5 days or some shit. Munoz came out in round 1. He got the takedown on Maness, and he got he was out here getting dominant positions, and he had full mount on Nate Maness, and he was starting to tee off with some ground and pound. He beat the fuck out of Nate Maness in that first round. Now, what happened in the second round was kind of what you would have expected with a 4-day short notice opponent. He slowed down after round 1, and he kind of looked like shit the rest of the fight. Maness was able to stuff pretty much everything. He was able to outstrike him. What would have happened on a full camp, though? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. I feel like Johnny Munoz maybe wins that fight on a full camp, and Nate Maness is no slouch. Like, Nate Maness is 3-0 in the UFC, boys. Like, he I mean, I don't think he's fighting for a title or even top 5, top 10 anytime soon, but it's a good fucking opponent in my opinion. I like Nate Maness. So the fact that Johnny Munoz was able to have success there, but ultimately slowed down because of it was short notice, it is what it is. He's got a full camp here. He's probably got the cardio advantage here. I mean, Tony Gravely has a lot of 25-minute experience. I kind of take that back, but he does slow down. It's just kind of, he puts a lot of power into his shots. He puts a lot of strength into his wrestling. That's why there's a slowdown. He can go 25 if need be. Anyways, I'm talking about this fight too much. I'm kind of low on both guys. If Munoz can make some improvements in the striking, I think he could be something. Tony Gravely, I'm just not sure those holes are ever going to get fixed. Like, he doesn't react well to getting punched, and he finds himself in submissions. So it's very sketchy guy to bet. I understand the money that's come in on Johnny Munoz. Man, I've been picking Gravely all week, and I understand why he's the favorite. I think he's the favorite because he has the tools to win this fight if he fights smart, doesn't get caught in anything. But on the flip side, it might just take one trip to the mat to get submitted here. So, like I said, this is the toughest fight for me to call in this card. That being said, man, I guess I'm going to pick the underdog. I mean, if it's this close of a fight in my eyes, why not pick the guy that's plus 112? I'm going to go with Johnny Munoz to find a submission at one point, but I'm going to say he's losing the fight up until that happens. So this is just kind of a shit show of a fight. We'll see what happens, but I got Johnny Munoz by sub in the second round. Let's see what happens. Moving on to the next one, we got Benoit Saint Denis, minus 148. He's taking on Nicholas Stolze, who you can get at plus 128. The return of Benoit Saint Denis. So this guy got the absolute shit kicked out of him in his last fight against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. And that's what it seems like everyone's talking about is the ultimate fucking ass whooping he took in that second round. But like, you watch that first and third round, like, he didn't look bad at all. He was out here getting takedowns. He was landing some shots, like, and this was up a weight class, keep in mind. Not only up a weight class, but short notice debut against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Like, guys, that is a tough one. Up a weight class against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Jesus Christ. And he lived to tell the tale. Yeah, a lot of refs would have stopped it, but hey, he showed a lot of fucking toughness. But you don't want a positive in a guy to be his ability to take an ass kicking, because you don't want your fighters to get their ass kicked. Now, this is he's down at the right weight class, 155. But it's funny, he's actually taking on a fellow former welterweight who's dropping down to 155, and Nicholas Stolze here. And hey, Stolze is a big fucking dude. I don't think he hits like Zaleski does, although he did hurt Ramazan Ameev with a knee really badly. Don't think he's quite as dangerous. I kind of think Benoit is going to be the more damaging fighter. Like, his strikes will have the more impact in this one. Stolze's coming off a pretty bad knockout loss against Night Train Gooden. Guys, I know Jared Gooden hits hard, like, for sure. He just knocked out Curtis Millender too, but like, I didn't think that shot connected all that well, to be honest. Like, it kind of wasn't really the prettiest punch in the world. I thought his performance over or Jared Gooden, I thought his performance over Curtis Millender was way better. Like, the knockout against Stolze was kind of weird. I just thought the punch was, I don't know. Maybe it just speaks on how fucking hard Night Train hits, but like, I don't know. That was kind of sketchy the way that punch landed and the way he got fucking brutally smashed. But anyway, I don't know if Benoit Saint Denis is going to come out here and do that. What I've seen from him mostly in the regional, as far as like his wins and successes, is grappling. And I think he might be able to do that here against Stolze. We saw Ramazan Ameev do that. Now, on the flip side, he did hurt Ameev. He had a nice little step-in knee there to counter the takedown. He almost got Ameev out of there. I don't know. Ameev's kind of a fraud. Like, we'll talk about Ameev next week when he fights Jack Della Maddalena. But like, you can listen to every single one of my past breakdowns on this YouTube channel. I have never been a fan of Ramazan Ameev. Like, yeah, he's got good wrestling. He can stick to you like glue, but like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that guy. just speaking from the heart here. But anyway, I keep getting off track. How do Benoit Saint Denis and Nicholas Stolze match up? I mean, Stolze's a faster guy. Like, for his height, like, he can move. He's pretty fast twitch. He's got some decent strikes, and who knows? He might be able to hurt Benoit Saint Denis. I mean, that possibly was a life-changing beating. There's a lot of variance in this fight. I can see both guys hurting each other on the feet. I can see both guys landing takedowns. It's a fucking tough one, man. I just kind of think Benoit Saint Denis is going to have more impact with his punches. I feel like his wrestling will be a little bit stronger. And I agree with him being a very slight favorite here. So I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis via a very close 29-28 decision. Moving on to the next one, we got Damon Jackson. He's minus 800, guys. He's taking on Dan Argueta plus 550. I'll be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot of tape on Argueta. I watched one fight. Yes, I mean, I can't really say much. As far as Damon Jackson goes, I mean, the guy in his first UFC run, he kind of looked like a fade. He got cut. He got knocked out brutally in the PFL. Things weren't looking good for him, but you know what, man? He's put his head down and grinded because he's way better than he was back in the day. Like his striking's a lot better. He seems more just physically strong. I mean, he's improving just every aspect of his game. Like David Jackson's he's a good fucking fighter, man, and who knows? He probably deserves this minus 800. I mean, not only is he taking on a debutant with way less experience, the short notice debutant is moving up a weight class. He's kind of a small guy, and he's a wrestler. So it's like you're gonna take down Damon Jackson and go to his world. I don't know. And maybe if this dude would have caught Damon Jackson before he had improved, maybe I'd say he can outstrike Damon Jackson. But I'm not even sure about that anymore because Damon's fucking striking has improved, man. So I feel like he can win this fight wherever it goes. Submission at some point probably will be the result. So yeah, I'm gonna go Damon Jackson by sub. I'll say second round. Moving on to the next one, we got Joe Solecki. He's minus 167. He's taking on Alex De Silva plus 147. I liked Alex De Silva a lot coming into the UFC. I bet him against Yakovlev. He looked great, then shit the bed. Against Brad Riddell, he looked great, then shit the bed. He fought, what's his name? The Kazula Vargas? Is that who he fought? Yeah. He beat Kazula Vargas, but like, I mean, you know the deal with Kazula Vargas. So this is a tough one for Alex De Silva. But like, back to the looking great and then falling apart after the first round. It's like a common theme with him, man. I saw it in the regionals too. Like the guy just drops off after round one, and I mean, it's because he's putting everything into everything. Like I don't know, he's very. I don't want to say stressed, but he's just, I mean, maybe that is the word. He's not very relaxed in there. He's putting everything into everything. And it costs him. After that first round, he's donezo. And you don't want to be donezo against Joe Solecki. He'll snatch you up and sub you like Alex De Silva has been subbed before. Now, the problem with betting Joe Solecki here is Alex De Silva's a young guy. If he comes out here and makes improvements, I actually think he has the tools to have a higher ceiling than Joe Solecki. I'm not a huge fan of Solecki's striking. Maybe he can have some success there. We saw Jared Gordon have success with Solecki in the grappling realm. Alex De Silva is a good grappler. I mean, shit, dude. I mean, all it could take here is for Alex De Silva to come back a little bit better of a man, and he can win this fight. So I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough one. Like, I'm definitely staying away. Like, if I was forced to bet this fight, I guess I would take the dog just because he has a chance. He's plus 150, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's just going to be disappointment city all over again, where he looks great in round one, then he fucking goes out, shoots a telegraph sloppy takedown, and Solecki wraps up that neck. So I'm going to go with Solecki in the second round, man. We'll see if we see a little bit of deja vu in Alex De Silva's career, or maybe we see some improvements. We'll have to find that out tomorrow. So moving on to the next one. Goddamn, I'm going to skip this. I'm going to skip through this one real quick. So we got Felice Herrig minus 120, taking on Karolina Kowalkiewicz plus 100. This is a rematch of a fight that happened a few years ago. I don't know why either girl is fighting anymore. I mean, you need that paycheck. I'm sure both these ladies have some pretty nice contracts. I mean, shit, they've both been in the UFC for well over half a decade. I'm sure Felice Herrig is coming up on probably a decade. I mean, when was that Ultimate Fighter season? That was like 2013, right? So, yeah, I mean, Felice Herrig is getting there. Thing is, she's been real inactive. It's not looking good. It's just not looking good for either lady. They're both kind of washed up. It's just all about who's better at this point in their career. And I kind of tend to think Karolina Kowalkiewicz could have Felice Herrig's number here. I mean, as much as a crapshoot as this fight is, can any of y'all make a good argument to me, like, as to why Felice Herrig is the favorite here. Because, like, Carolina, she beat her the first time. I don't think either chick, I mean, it's not like one chick improved and one chick didn't. Like, and the time since they fought each other, Carolina here, Felice here, they're both dropping down together. So it's not like Carolina is dropping down a little bit and Felice is dropping down a lot. It's they're both on the way out, man. Let's call it like it is. But Carolina's always been the better striker. She was able to stuff the takedowns the first time. I mean, I get that Felice Herrig is in amazing shape and she's physically strong and has the grappling upside here. But in a close fight, I'm going to go with the dog. I'm going to go with the person who won this fight the first time. I'm going to go with Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 29-28, split decision. Moving on to the next one. I am excited to talk about this one, and this is actually my first bet of the night, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. We got Alonzo Menafield. It's minus 235. He's taken on, supposedly, his name is Askar Mazarov. Excuse me. Askar Mazarov, if that is his real name. If you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock, this guy has gone by a few different names. He's lost some fights. He tried to push those losses under the dirt, never to be seen again. He started off this week with a pro record of 25-7. And after some amazing research done by, I believe it was the boys over at SureDog who did the research. This guy ain't no 25-7. This guy is 19-12. I mean, if you're lying about your record, not only is he lying about his record, man, he's taking these losses, like these fucking terrible losses against, 14-10 guys where he's tapping his strikes. I saw him lose to an 0-1 guy. It's not good. This guy lied his way into the UFC. He injected himself with steroids to get into the UFC. This guy's a former welterweight. How the fuck do you think he went up to heavyweight? He fought at heavyweight. This guy was sticking needles in his ass. He got in trouble with USADA. The debut got delayed. He doesn't look quite as juiced up anymore. Neither does his record. Boys and girls, we found ourselves a fraud. Now, that being said, as much of a fraud this guy is, I will say one good thing about him. He's scary and he's dangerous. This guy hits hard. He throws power. And those first couple minutes, it's going to be scary for Alonzo Menafield. But once things go past a couple minutes, it tends to go real bad for him. You put this guy in one spot, he quits. He quits. Now, is Alonzo Menafield much of a wrestler? Like, am I super confident that he's going to be able to get this guy down? I mean, Alonzo's landed only 2 takedowns in the UFC. Now, granted, he came out against Charant, took him down, subbed him right away. Maybe he can do that to this guy. This guy's physically fucking strong, though, and scary. I don't think this is going to be a situation where Alonzo Menafield can come out and get down his opponent right away and sub him instantly like he did against Charant. Charant's fucking harmless. This guy's scary. I think Alonzo Menafield's going to have to go through some shit in the first couple minutes. But once he gets through that shit, he's going to fuck this guy up. He's going to make him quit. We're never going to see him in the UFC again. You can't just fucking lie about your record. Can't do a lot of the shit this guy's done. I mean, it's pretty clear. They're done with him. This is gonna be a one and done. This guy's just he's a fucking joke, man, and it's gonna be real disappointing if he actually comes out here, hits his win condition, and fucking clocks Alonzo Menafield, puts him away in the first minute or two. It's gonna be a real shame if that happens, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Alonzo has paid some dues, man. He might not have as many fights as this guy, but like, that UFC experience is so valuable. Like, this guy might have 30 fights, but who the fuck is he fighting? He's fighting these whew, I mean, where are they fighting? Where are they finding these guys for this guy to fight? I mean, firstly, I mean, he's got 19 wins and like 16 of them are against guys with 0 wins. Um, it's fraud central with this guy. I don't got much more to say, man. Alonzo Menifield, he's paid dues. He's took some L's. He's getting better too. I don't think the cardio is as bad as it used to be. I mean, I think he certainly learned a lesson in that OSP fight when it comes to striking and movement. I mean, holy fuck, was that a Menifield OSP fight disappointing? Like, OSP just kept circling out, and Menifield didn't change a goddamn thing. Like, he just kept. It was bad. Like the way he was just coming forward, straight at him, chin in the air, on a straight line, not moving his head, getting countered by the same fucking punch every time. Shit, dude. Like, in hindsight, Alonzo probably shouldn't have been in there with OSP at the time. But lordy lord, was that performance embarrassing. So, like, Alonzo Menifield's no he's no world beater himself. But the thing is, like, I think there's levels to bad fighters, and like, at least Alonzo's out here training at Fortis. I think he's making improvements. He's got UFC experience. And I think he's got what it takes to shut down a fraud. So I actually made a bet. I put 2.3 units on Alonzo Menifield inside the distance, minus 115. I didn't want to play that Alonzo minus 170, minus 180, whatever it was at the time. I saw inside the distance minus 115. I'm like, yo, this fight's not going to decision. Doesn't go to decisions minus 700. The way this guy fights, it's not fucking happening. So I decided to take a little bit more value. Alonzo Menifield inside the distance, minus 115. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the only opportunity we get to fade this guy. So, you may as well fucking do it. I see why the money's coming in on Menifield and why he's minus 250 now. It's just terrible luck. But the reason why it's not minus 600, minus 500 is because the guy is dangerous. It's the only goddamn good thing I'm going to say about Morozov is that he is dangerous. So we'll see what happens. But I got Menifield to come out here and smoke this fraud. So hope y'all like that rant. Moving on to the next one. Got another bet here. So we got Ode Osborne minus 190, taking on Zaruk Adashev plus 165. Now, I do respect Zaruk, man. Like, he came into the UFC at he had 4 fucking fights, right? And short notice against Tyson Nam, came in out of shape as fuck. Like, it looked real fucking bad at first. And then he's come back, and although he didn't beat Sumudarji, I thought he put on a respectable performance against Benoit. However, I don't know. I kind of feel like this guy, even for a flyweight, is kind of small. I feel like he's kind of chinny. Like, I don't know if he can take the power of some of these bigger flyweights. You saw it against Tyson Nam. Ode Osborne's one of the biggest flyweights out there. Hits hard. Yeah, although Zaruk might have the better style to out kickbox Ode over 15 minutes, especially since I think he might even have better cardio than Ode. Dude, I don't think he should be exchanging with Ode Osborne, man. I think Ode, he'll put him on his ass. He'll put him away real quick. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to knock out Adashev. Don't be surprised if he attempts to take this fight down to the ground. I think he has a big BJJ advantage. I mean, long story short, I feel like Ode Osborne kind of fucks him up wherever it goes. Now, the big problem for me would be if Ode were to slow down like he has before. Maybe Zaruk Adashev weasels the second and third round, but I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. And another thing I want to say, that Ode Osborne win he had against CJ Vergara, I feel like that win has aged well because CJ Vergara just came out and beat a very highly touted prospect in, was his name Clayson Rodriguez? Yeah. So Vergara just came out here and or it was a split decision, but it was a close fight. But hey, he just came out and beat a very highly touted prospect in Clayton Rodriguez. Ode Osborne, he's another highly touted prospect. He passed the CJ Vergara test, so like I feel like Ode Osborne is leveling up, man. He's improving. It was kind of sketch when he first came into the UFC and he got submitted by Kelleher, but like I feel like he's looking real good. Even that Manel Cape fight, he was looking good in that fight, man. But then he just got caught by one of the hardest hitters in the division, and not just one of the hardest hitters, guys. Manel Cape is if he's not already a top 5 guy, he's on his way. So yeah, Ode's taking a step down here. Zaruk Adashev, like I said, he's got my respect. He's better than his record indicates. He's improving every time. He is a good kickboxer. But Ode smash, man. He is going to light Zaruk up. He's going to hurt him. I mean, I feel like he just knocks him out early. If not, like he can win a decision here. He just won a decision against a guy with a very good cardio in CJ Vergara. He's got the ground edge here too. I feel like Ode Osborne deserves to be in the minus 200s here. And not only did I make a bet on Ode Osborne, and not only did I make a bet on Ode Osborne earlier in the week when he was minus 163, I put 5 units on Ode Osborne. I'm very confident in this spot. I feel like it's a smash spot, man. I mean, it's I do feel like they're trying to build Ode up. Zaruk's on the last fight of his contract. Zaruk is I don't know, man. I don't know what if the UFC sees anything in Zaruk. They're not. I don't know, man. I don't know. The matchmaking just comes off to me as if they kind of want Ode to get this one, and that's not the end all be all. I broke the fight down from a stylistic perspective. I just feel like I got a good read on it. So yeah, Ode Osborne. I'm gonna pick him to come out and get a first round KO. How do you feel about Melina bet this week with Erin Blanchfield? I feel like she's gonna take that W all the way home with her. I don't see Aldrich being able to stuff the takedowns. As far as Melina, bro, I get the hype with Melina. He's exciting. He's fun. He's interactive on Twitter, and he is a good fighter. He is a good prospect. But this dude Zhalgas Zhumagulov, he has weaseled out decisions against better fighters than Jeff Molina. And Jeff Molina can get taken down. So it's like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't bet Molina at his current price, but I am going to pick him. I feel like that volume and the striking will be too much for Zhalgas. I wouldn't bet him. So moving on to the next fight. We got Karine Silva. She's minus 125. She's taking on Poliana Botelho plus 105. Yeah, I mean, so I heard a lot of people bring up how Botelho is a former 115 pounder. She's going to be undersized in some of these flyweight fights. She looks big, bro. I just watched stare downs before starting this podcast, and yeah, she arguably looked like the bigger girl. I mean, I think moving up to 125, although the results haven't been there, I feel like flyweight's the weight class for her. Only problem is that she, again, just like I was talking about with Alex De Silva, something with these fucking Brazilians, bro. Botelho slows down after the first round. We've seen it many times. She won the first round against Jillian Robertson, proceeded to slow down. Slow down against Lauren Mueller. Slow down against fucking everybody. So it's like, in Karine Silva, she made she made a statement in her last fight off of a fighter who slowed down after the first round. She capitalized, got a second round submission. She's fought this kind of fighter before where it's hell on wheels in first round, and then shit kind of doesn't go well for him after that. So I don't know. I get why Silva is the favorite, even though she's a UFC debutante. Like, I kind of like what I saw. Like those front kicks, the hands are okay. The submission game seems like it's there. She's definitely not the worst prospect I've ever seen. Like, she's solid. But UFC experience does count for a lot. Botelho, she's been in there with way better girls. Yeah, I'm not going to pick the dog. I am going to pick the favorite here. I don't want to trust Botelho's cardio. it's no bueno. Karine Silva has the higher ceiling, so I will go with her. I'll say she squeaks out a 29-28 split decision. So you guys are blowing up the chat a little bit. Thank you, Brody. You're one of the good guys. Appreciate you, bro. Pressure and grapple fest if you can avoid a KO. Who are you talking about? Who was I just talking about? Who are you talking about, Jay? Alexandre Ribeiro. What's up, bro? I have 8 racks on Tony Grayley, enough for 2 years worth of foot models coming over to my house so they can treat me like a dog and give me their spit as a drink. Oh, shit, that's funny. Damn, bro. Having a lot of money on Tony Gravely is sketchy as fuck. You're talking about Zalgas, so pressure and grapple. Yeah. I agree. I agree with you on that. I mean, it's probably dog or pass in that fight, man. So we reached the feature bout of the night. We got Michael Trizano. He's minus 212. He's taking on Lucas Almeida plus 182. I kind of think there's value in the dog here. Trizano, like, has Trizano ever looked minus 200? Like, has he? Sure as hell not in the UFC. Close split decision against Joe Giannetti. Close split decision against Luis Pena. Then he lost to... Fuck. Who did he lose to? Who was his first UFC loss? Grant Dawson. Yeah, he got submitted in the second round against Grant Dawson. Ludovic Klein arguably didn't win that fight against Ludovic Klein, and then lost to Hakeem Dawodu. I was big on Hakeem Dawodu in that fight. I felt really good about that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of tempted to pick against Trizano again. But then again, if I pick Lucas Almeida at plus 180, how much of an idiot would I be to pick him and not bet him? And I kind of don't want to bet him. I kind of want to go more of the route of including him in a bunch of DraftKings lineups. But I don't know. I mean, Trizano probably is the rightful favorite. Like, he's got the UFC experience. I feel like he's just more technical. He has the better style to win minutes over a 15-minute fight. Lucas Almeida, he slows down after the first round, and that's purely because he puts everything into his punches early. So I don't know if Trizano can avoid the power. I feel like he outpoints him, but man, this line's off. Like, how can you line Trizano minus 200s when he hasn't looked anywhere near that in any UFC fight? Like, his wins, Ludovic Klein. Yeah, he won that fight, but if they rebook it, they fucking might even line Klein the favorite if they ever ran that one back. Before that, Luis Pena. I mean, they ain't running that one back. Luis Pena's woo. And then Joe Giannetti. I don't fucking think that guy's ever getting back into the UFC, so not much sense talking about if they ran it back there. But, like, in a hypothetical world, if he ever ran back some of those wins, he ain't fucking minus 200 in any of those spots. Like, I don't get the line at all. I'm just scared to take the shot on Lucas Almeida. I'm pussing out, as the kids would say. It's not really trustworthy. I mean, his path to victory here is throwing bombs. He's not going to win a technical striking match with Trizano, and if he throws those bombs and doesn't get the knockout, well, guess what? He's probably losing a decision. So I'm going to regretfully pick Trizano to win this fight by a close decision. But from a betting perspective, it's Lucas Almeida or pass all day long, and I'll have a lot of them in DraftKings. So, yeah. Moving on to the next one, we got the co-main event of the evening. We got Movsar Evloev. I always have trouble saying Movsar. Like, I don't know what it is. Evloev. That's his fucking name right there. That's what I'm calling him, Evloev. He's taking on Dan Ige. Evloev. I don't know why my headset is being a little bit of a weirdo right now, but Evloev minus 415. Dan Ige plus 315. Man. Is the line on Evloev warranted here? Yeah, I think it is. I think Evloev is the goods. I've always been a fan of his boxing. Like everyone talks about his wrestling. I kind of like the fucking guy's hands. Like he's solid, man. He's super solid. They just kind of get overlooked because the wrestling is so good. But like, believe me, guys, Evloev can box. And I know he's had he's had a couple sketchy moments. Like, if I'm not mistaken, he dropped around to Barzola. He almost got submitted by Grundy. Hasn't been perfect in the UFC by any means, but you know, uh, he's there's not many guys who can lace up his boots when it comes to wrestling. Like the dude is very good. We just saw Dan Ige get out wrestled by a Korean striker in Chan Sung Jung, and that's no disrespect, but I mean, who from Korea is known for their wrestling? It's just, I mean, it is what it is. And I just kind of feel like in general, Ige, like, I don't know. I'm not sure how much further he can go. Like, he reached the top 15 and kind of did it pretty quickly. Props to him, but once he reached it, it ain't looking good. And Evloev is the guy that's breaking in. He's probably going to break into the top 10, might even break into the top 5. I don't want to disrespect Ige, but this is kind of a ladder step matchup for Evloev to just bring it to the next level, man. And as long as he doesn't get caught with a big strike, as long as he doesn't get subbed, he's going to win this fight. Like, he has the tools to outbox Ige over 15 minutes. Just don't get knocked out. He has the tools to wrestle Ige for 15 minutes. Just don't get subbed. So it's like, if you're looking at a low percentage finish as the path to victory for Ige, then fuck yeah, he should be plus 300. I mean, I don't agree with these people saying that there's value on Ige. Like, yeah, it's a top 15 fighter, a solid fighter at a big number, but sometimes it's warranted, bro. And I just feel like it's warranted here. Movsar Evloev, I'm going to say he wins the unanimous decision, wins wherever it goes. Moving on to the next one, we got Alexander Volkov. He's taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. It is your main event of the evening. Volkov minus 163. Rozenstruik plus 143. Let's see if y'all have said anything. Thoughts on 9-2 LFA heavyweight prospect? That's funny, bro. That's a good one. I ain't gonna say that, but you're funny. I love sucking white nail polish toes. Kill it for me, Kilton. All right, bro. I mean, I appreciate you being in here, but let's relax a little bit. So anyway, on to the main event. No, I appreciate y'all. That's funny. I mean, yeah. So the thing, I mean, this is a simple breakdown. Like, I'm not going to say anything you guys probably already haven't heard from other podcasts. Like, it's volume versus power. And Volkov, like, maybe he should rightfully be the favorite here. Like, he's just got more tools. If it goes the 25-minute distance, you got to think it's going to be him getting his hand raised on volume. And if it goes 25 minutes, it means he didn't get knocked out. So, I mean, it's probably good for Volkov. Now, here's my concerns. I feel like Volkov has kind of fell off a little bit. He lost. Let me look real quick. So he looked fucking great against Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem, but I mean, how many times has Overeem been knocked out again? Has Walt Harris ever won a top 15 fight? Like, no disrespect. I mean, it just is what it is. Cyril Gane. Like, I get that Cyril Gane's a very good fighter. And Volkov looked decent. It's just, I don't know. After that fight, the following one against Marcin Tybura, he didn't really look like himself, man. And then the following against Tom Aspinall, I know Aspinall's a terrific prospect, but again, he just didn't look like himself. He got smoked. I kind of feel like, even though it's heavyweight and these guys have 9 lives, I kind of feel like Volkov is, unfortunately, he's not washed. He's not going to get cut anytime soon, but I kind of feel like Jairzinho Rozenstruik's on the way up and Volkov's on the way down. And I feel like that's very fair to say, even with all the advantages you can list for Volkov. So, yeah, I mean, the movement and the defense and the reaction time, it doesn't look the same as it did. Like, you remember when Volkov was, I mean, he came into the UFC with not that much hype because he was losing a lot of Bellator fights, but then comes out, knocks out for Doom. Who the fuck else did he beat? Like, my man Volkov was on a nice little run. I know he got knocked out by Derek Lewis, but main event win against Greg Hardy. I mean, that Stefan Struve beating was something else. Like, Volkov was looking like a man on a mission there for a little bit, but I don't know. That Cyril Gane fight, that was clearly like a number one contender fight, and once he lost that, I mean, you sometimes just see these guys, they just, once they lose a title shot, lose a number one contender fight, and you got some age to you, sometimes the motivation's just not completely there. Whereas Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he's been in there with the champ. He's been in there with Francis Ngannou. He's felt that power. He wants to get that one back. He's improving. The Augusto Sakai knockout was vicious. Did lose a 5-round decision against Gane, but I mean, so did Volkov. I mean, Gane's just a very good fighter. And then Curtis Blades did his thing against him. Curtis Blades wrestled Rozenstruik. Curtis Blades did the same thing against Volkov. Curtis Blades is a good-ass wrestler. Volkov ain't going to wrestle here. So, yeah, I mean, you got a fighter on the down versus a fighter on the up. And this fight's going to take place striking for 25 minutes where the guy in the up has the death touch. Like, my boy Jairzinho Rozenstruik hits fucking hard. So, although I get why Volkov is the favorite, I'm happy to take the dog shot here on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I feel like he might be losing up until the point where he gets it, but I like his chances to get a knockout here quite a bit, actually. I mean, you're getting a good plus money line on a fight with variance. Like, on a fight with variance, you want to take the good underdog money. Like, firstly, it's heavyweights, hardest division to predict. Like I said, I believe one guy's on the up and one guy's on the down. The guy on the up is the underdog. He's got the fucking death touch, man. Like, he can win this fight at any point, and he proved that in the Overeem fight. He can be losing rounds, and he can knock you out in the last second. He's got heart. I fucking like Rozenstruik, man. I feel like he's making the right improvements, too. I like where his head's at. I like this fucking dude Rozenstruik, man. Like, I feel like he could win this fight and kind of be like a top 10 guy for a while. Like, his striking is not bad at all. And I saw some Instagram posts he made where he shared a video of him wrestling, and who knows, man? Maybe Jairzinho's out here putting new wrinkles in his game. So you never know how these guys can improve, and I feel like Rozenstruik, I don't know, man. Like, don't be surprised if you see a new man in there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Rozenstruik. I'm going to say he knocks out Volkov. I'll say second round. I got plus 133. Very close fight. I'm not going to act like I'm super confident. I just feel like I'm getting value at the line on Rozenstruik. So, there it is, guys. 14 fights. It's gonna be a fun one. We got the big one next week. We got UFC 275. Teixeira versus Yuri Prokazka. That's going to be a fucking nut fest. Like, I cannot wait for that one. So, yeah, I'll run through the bets one more time. I got 5 units on Ode Osborne at minus 163. 3 units Jairzinho Rozenstruik plus 133. 2 units Alonzo Menafield minus 115. And I kind of want to run down the props for you guys again. I did that last time. It was fun. So, Volkov, Rozenstruik props. Rozenstruik by KO, I see plus 200. Here's the thing, and people were messaging me, why don't you just bet Rozenstruik by KO? Here's the thing. If I fucking bet Rozenstruik by KO, they're going to stare at each other for 25 minutes, and Rozenstruik's going to win a split. And I know that that's not the greatest logic in the world, but, like, I don't know. If you're getting plus money on a guy straight up, why bother fucking around with the props? If it was like plus 400 or some crazy shit, sure. But, like, I mean, I'm just getting another 65 cents. It's whatever. And then if you want to take a look at Volkov by decision, plus 160. So Ige Evloev. I'm sure Evloev by decision is juiced up. Ige is tough to put out, and Evloev is a decision machine. Evloev by decision, minus 165. Yeah, that's juiced up. Let's see. Anything else pop out at me? Let's see what Ode Osborne by KO is. Plus 250. Don't hate that, although I think a sub could be possible too. And what would really piss me off is if I bet Ode by KO and he drops him and then subs him. Yeah, let's look at submissions in the Selecki De Silva fight. I kind of feel like either guy can get a submission in that fight. Selecki sub plus 275, De Silva sub plus 1200. God damn. I mean, yeah, Selecki's a really good BJJ grappler, but so is fucking De Silva. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna bother looking at props for the Felice Herrig Kovalkovich fight. That's gonna do it for me, guys. I appreciate y'all coming out. We win an hour. I guess that's expected with a 14 fight card. So, yep. Sorry for the late podcast, but busy week at work. But I made the damn thing happen. I'm excited to jump on and make some DraftKings lineups here as soon as I get off of here. So hope you guys enjoy the fights tomorrow. It's going to be a good card, and then we got the big one next week. The thing with the UFC these days, man, like these fight night cards are rough, but they sure as hell load up those pay-per-views. So it's a nice little trade-off. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button if you can. I'd appreciate that. And subscribe if you're not already. That way you don't miss these podcasts every week. So appreciate y'all. I'll see you next week. Enjoy the fights. Hope y'all win some money.